Well, it was in the year 2000 that Congress passed a law that allowed cash sales of food and agricultural products to this island nation, an exception to what had been a 4-decade-old trade embargo with the Fidel Castro regime. Now, since then, we have seen sales with Cuba shoot up through the roof, now approaching close to $1 billion and making it the 21st largest export market for our country.
The streets of Havana are filled these days with tourists from all around the world. But among the revelers are trade delegations from farm states in the U.S. wanting to export food to this island nation just off the Florida coast.
And I think anytime you find an expanding market, it's very important that Oklahoma agriculture goes and explores those markets and looks for new opportunities for our farmers and ranchers in our state.
This is the Secretary of Agriculture's third trip into Cuba, leading a trade mission of state lawmakers and farm leaders.
So we're down here for that reason, to try to sell produce from Oklahoma that we have an excess in that we export to the closest exporter that we could go to, 90 miles off the shores, 56 hours for a load of wheat from Port of Houston to Havana, and that's our purpose here, to try to sell them products from Oklahoma.
And that we've done. In the fall of 2004, the first ship in over 40 years arrived in Cuba filled full of Oklahoma wheat, a sale worth more than $4 million.
Well, this could be a $100 million market for Oklahoma wheat producers, and obviously logistically we're located in an area that it should be Oklahoma wheat producers market, and it very easily could be.
And it's here where things start to get complicated. Even though the Cuban government has proven itself to very much be a willing buyer, and Oklahoma farmers certainly are willing sellers, increasingly, bureaucratic obstacles put up by our own federal government are making such sales harder to come by.
Unlike other countries we export to, Cuba must pay in cash and before delivery for everything shipped from the U.S., a hurdle that angers the Cuban government and frustrates Oklahoma farmers.
The embargo's been on for 45 years, and as we stand around and watch the people come up and down this street, you see that they're happy, they're healthy, they have a good education system. I think it's time, instead of embargoing against these people, we try to love them to death. I think we have a better chance of having that freedom in this country than we do by trying to suppress them.
Several congressional leaders from farm states have signed on to legislation that would lessen such trade restrictions. But among Oklahoma's congressional delegation, only one has supported the bill, a fact Cuban officials pointed out in meeting after meeting after meeting.
Ahora, el sector agrícola de los Estados Unidos es un sector poderoso.
The U.S. farming community is strong, and if they can partner with other exporters, I am sure that before long, U.S. sanctions against Cuba will be over because public opinion favors it.
But to date, that shows no sign of happening, despite the fact that 38 states have now signed agreements to export to Cuba.
Tuviéramos una relación normal de comercio y de servicio y de turismo.
In a normalized trade scenario, Oklahoma wheat sales to Cuba would multiply by 3 to 4 times.
Sales that Peach hopes to expand to other Oklahoma farm commodities.
The Cuban market's going to be a growing market for not only wheat market, but other crops like dairy products, maybe some timber products, pork, and also for some beef products.
And Cuban officials have agreed to buy another multi-million-dollar shipload of Oklahoma wheat, a move Oklahoma Senator Charles Wyrick hopes will bring us another step closer to normalized relations.
I think things are changing. I think in the last several years, the way people are viewing Cuba, I think the best way that we can address that is, to open these markets and open a relationship with the people of both of our state and the people of this nation and the people of the United States. And I think we'll see increase in opening the markets. I think you'll see a cultural exchange. I think there's some good things that can come from this.
And to date, that is where we are. While there are those in both countries that will agree that political reform is inextricably linked with economic progress, Just what that political reform is and how far it goes and how soon it gets there is very much still in debate.